Catherine says, I live in London and I haven't seen much of lockdown. The only thing that's open is the streets and the parks. I've been quarantined now for 45 days. It feels like house arrest. My question is it necessary for us to take the vaccine? As our government said, by October, the first vaccine will be available. We don't know the answer to that, Catherine. We just don't know whether it's going to be enforced or not.
Do you have an opinion on that? Do you see that becoming where our governments across the world will actually enforce inoculation?
Well, of course, when it comes to, again, should we be able to get a vaccine that would not harm people, but would prevent infection from 19, and it's proven scientifically to do that,
have we got
then
the
it's
time
reasonable
to do it?
It's reasonable as good stewards. Immunization, vaccination can be defined as good stewardship, and in Genesis chapter 1, God calls us to be good stewards. But I continue to say it's also a matter of personal conscience as well, and should not be enforced by holding you down and injecting you against your will.
Oh, it'd be more subtle than that, wouldn't it? It would be more like you can't go shopping.
Can't leave the house.
Or you can't,
without your vaccine wristband.
You'd be segregated, yeah.
Les says, I heard that the BCG vaccine to protect people from tuberculosis that children had years ago could provide some protection against the coronavirus. What do you think? And what about the vaccine against polio that was also used?
The coronavirus is very, very different. Now, there are some drugs, such as that which goes against malaria, which has shown very much promise in the recent months. And there's some others that are being developed that are brand new. However, at the moment, I would say there's no clinical evidence that those are going to do a whole lot of good. The important thing is keep your immune system up and take advantage of whatever drugs seem to be the best at the time if you do get infected.
What about, can we just talk about the best way to keep our immune system top-notch? Are you into the understanding that, some of the vitamins like C and D are very important?
There is some clinical research that indicates that D would be helpful against coronavirus. And my wife and I take small quantities of D3 each day, just for general health purposes, and we have for a long time. So there does seem to be some correlation, but it's still not proven that it's going to be greatly effective. It's just helpful.
Well, in fact, that leads
Again, I want to point out something, if I may. The Bible's very clear. Medical science is very clear. Now, remember, what we have today is politicians with agendas. We don't have good medicine being practiced today. Good medicine, consistent with the Bible and God, who is the perfect doctor. You don't quarantine the healthy. You quarantine the sick. And people who are staying at home are becoming less and less healthy. Their immune systems are decaying by staying at home. You would be much more healthy being out and being vigorous.
Good point. Thank you, Grady. Yeah, very good point.
Well, Phyllis in Northern Ireland says, have you heard Dr. Cahill, who says lockdown is wrong and we should be increasing our immune system by taking vitamin C, D and zinc? This doctor says that hydrochloroquine, which is that the malaria one, it could prevent many deaths. She says it takes effect in 3 days, and we have heard quite a lot about that.
Again, it's an anti-malaria drug which is shown to be very effective in treating people who have become infected. It doesn't prevent it, but it shortens the duration. That's very important. Zinc is very important to healing when, for instance, you get a cut or a broken bone. I can't say that it's necessarily effective against COVID-19. Yeah. However, Dr. Salk was very big on vitamin C. I would certainly recommend it in a general sense, vitamin D in a general sense, but do not get into large doses, which could become toxic. You want to do things in a moderate way that are appropriate.
Okay.
Yeah, we had David Wilkinson's brother on just a few weeks ago, Gary, who'd had the virus and was quite ill, and that's what he was given, wasn't it?
Yes, and he said he
recover.
recovered through taking that hydrochloroquine or something. Donald Trump says he is taking hydrochloroquine as a preventative measure against coronavirus, despite it being unproven as an effective treatment. So I'm sure that story will be staying at the top of the headlines for days to come. So just thought we would talk about that for a minute. What truth is there in the fact that as Christians we should be cautious about taking this vaccine? Is it to do with the research on aborted fetuses?
Well, first of all, I have bioethical problems with material used from aborted fetuses, obviously. However, the fact of the matter is that all of the stem cell research that has ever proven to be effective in any form of medication, therapy, therapeutic measures has all come from adult stem cells and has never come from aborted fetuses.
So these are part of the conspiracy theories and reasons why a lot of people won't take those vaccines. And we just need to put people's mind at rest.
During this lockdown time, a lot of people are really suffering badly with mental health.
Well, the fact of the matter is that you and we are killing more people by the lockdown than we would if we let them have normal activities. We should protect the old, we should protect those with pre-existing conditions, and let the healthy go on, right on with their work, right on with their school. Almost no child, and I said not almost no child, has died from this. And people die every day. There's 150,000 people who die in the world every day from something. The idea that you can prevent people from dying is ridiculous.